Nintendo did their Nintendo Direct. And no, they did not mention Switch 2, unfortunately. They made that very clear. But Nintendo did 2 showcases. They showed off Indie World, which is like a bunch of indie titles, and then they also showed off Nintendo Direct, which is like their own stuff. So first up in the Indie World showcase, we have Batro, and they're collabing with The Witcher, Dave the Diver, Vampire Survivors, and Among Us, which is a list I did not expect to exist. This is a good addition to Batro, and Batro is also a really good game. I highly recommend it. So if you're interested in like a roguelike card game, Batro's great. Highly recommend it. And next up, we have Neeva, which is a Hollow Knight looking platformer game. It looks good. I've seen it before from Nintendo, and it's a very pretty looking game. I can see a lot of people being interested in it just from the graphics alone. The art style is really good, but that's about as much as I know about it. And next up, we have Moth Cubit, which is interesting. You play as a bug in an office, and I don't know how Binding of Isaac played, but this looks a lot like Binding of Isaac. I've only seen Binding of Isaac gameplay, so I can't really comment besides that. It looks like it plays pretty similarly to Binding of Isaac, except with like more RPG elements. I don't know how much RPG or story elements Binding of Isaac had, but this game looks interesting. I can definitely see a good amount of people liking this game, especially if you like Binding of Isaac, because it looks identical. And next up, we have Coffee Talk Tokyo. This game looks like it has chill vibes. The art style is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of it. And it's like a barista simulator where you make coffees and talk to the characters. And it looks like the coffees you make are like pretty intricate in design. Like, you know those foam patterns they do a lot in Japan? You do that kind of thing. This really isn't my kind of game, but the game does look good. And I'm a huge fan of the art style, as I said earlier. And I can definitely see a good amount of people being really interested in this game, especially if you like chill, cozy games. That's the vibe I get from this. It's a very lo-fi feeling game, if that makes sense. And then they announced Sea of Stars Throw of Watchmaker DLC, and I have never seen this game before in my life. I just thought I'd mention it in case you wanted this DLC, and now you know it exists. So if you wanted this DLC, there you go. And next up, we have another DLC. This one's for Pressure Washer Simulator, and this one is really interesting. It's Shrek DLC. You can now clean Shrek's swamp in Pressure Washer Simulator, which is a cool DLC. It's a cool addition to Pressure Washer Simulator, and Pressure Washer Simulator is something I've played. It's a very laid-back game you play just to chill out. It's one of those games you put on if you're listening to like a podcast or something, and having the Shrek swamp in the game is pretty cool. And next up, we have Morsels, which is a roguelike where you play as a mouse and you fight against a bunch of cats. Now, off the bat, the art style is very interesting, and the art direction is also very interesting. It's a very wacky looking game. They're definitely standing out though in the roguelike genre because yeah, it's kind of saturated at this point, and I can definitely see this game being well liked. And next up, we have a game where you can date everything. Yeah, so this game's called Date Everything. It's a pretty self-explanatory title. It's a game where you can date like a cabinet, for example, or ideas, I think. They made it very clear in the trailer that you could date anything, so that's what I expect. Dating sims are definitely not for me. I've had zero interest throughout my entire life, but I'm sure someone would love to date a cabinet out there. So this game is a perfect fit for someone out in the world. And next up, we have Peglin. And this game is like Peggle, but you also have turn-based combat elements, which is interesting. If you've never seen or played Peggle, it is a great game. It's like Pachinko, I think, except there's no money involved. So you shoot a little ball and a bunch of different balls, and you light up the balls and they make satisfying noises when you hit them. Peggle's a great game, honestly. So Peglin is interesting because to kill your enemies, you have to get a good score in the Peggle area at the bottom. It's an interesting game, and I can definitely see this having its own audience. It comes out today, August 27th, and it's a timed console exclusive on Nintendo Switch first, and then everything else after. I don't know when, but yeah. And next up, we have Pico Park 2. This game is just like Pico Park 1, except there's 8 players now. And if you've never played Pico Park, the whole goal is to get your friends in the game and then torture them, because you can purposely mess up everything. That is the point of this game. But yeah, it's a fun co-op game. I recommend it. And now, just like I did in the presentation, I'm going to rapid fire some games. So we have Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX. I'm going to switch. That looks pretty cool. Shovel Knight's pretty good. We have Europa. Have no idea what this game is. Never seen it before in my life. It looks okay. And then we have Cuisiner, which is the same situation. I have never seen this game before in my life. It looks okay. On Your Tail. Never seen this game before in my life. Looks all right. And then we have Metal Slug Tactics. And this one looks kind of interesting. I'm actually interested in this one. It looks like a turn-based combat game, which I like. So yeah, that one looks cool. And then we also have Pizza Tower. And this comes out on Switch today. Pizza Tower's already existed, and now it's just on Switch. So enjoy if that's what you wanted. And now we have the Nintendo Direct portion of the Nintendo Direct. And in this section, Nintendo showed off Nintendo partner games, so companies that work more closely with Nintendo. But first up on this list, we have 3 Tetris games. We have Tetris Forever coming out, and NES Tetris coming out, as well as Tetris 99. I don't know the difference between those, except for NES being on the NES. But yeah, 3 new Tetris remasters for all the Tetris fans out there. And next they showed a game called Star Overdrive. And this game looks a lot like Zelda, that's the best way to put it, except instead of running around, you have a hoverboard, and it looks kind of cool. Now the game visually does not look very good. Like, I'm actually kind of upset it looks like this because it could have looked so much better. But the actual gameplay looks all right. I'm not like super interested in this though or anything. I'm sure somebody is, but it's not me. And it's a timed exclusive that comes out in 2025. And next up we have Goat Simulator on the Switch. And oh dear God, this does not look great. And the game itself is okay. You play as a goat and you mess around for a bit, and that's the gameplay. It's not like a big grand experience by any means. It's a very silly game, and it's fun. It does what it needs to. It doesn't overstay its welcome. But this Switch trailer does not look good. It is never a good look when a trailer is lagging, because that is the best thing they could have shown you. And if that's the best they got, this console is struggling. So yeah, Ghost Simulator itself is like a pretty decent game. I don't know if I'd recommend it on the Switch though, because the trailer doesn't look great. If you want to buy it on the Switch, I'd recommend checking a video out before you buy it, because yeah, the performance looks kind of nauseating, and Goat Simulator on the Switch drops today. And next we have Legends of Heroes, and honestly guys, I don't care about this. That is literally the only thing I wrote down about this game is I don't care about it, so we're moving on. And next we have Star Wars Hunters, and they showed, like, unironically 20 seconds of footage of this. I don't know what it is, but it looks interesting. The art style is interesting, and it launches the 26th of September, so if you're hyped for this, congratulations, it comes out soon. But the next game that was shown off was Worms Armageddon Anniversary Edition. This game is a solid pick. Worms is a fun turn-based game where you play with your friends, and you just shoot each other. It's great. It comes out September 26th, and I would say it's safe on the Switch. I really doubt the Switch is gonna have issues running this game. It's a very light game. It is a turn-based game. And next up, a SpongeBob game called the Patrick Star game, where you guessed it, you play as Patrick Star and you're the Bikini Bottom. This game is not for me, but it looks okay. It comes out October 4th if you're hyped about it. And next up, we have Fitness Boxing 3, and I don't care. It comes out whenever. And next up, we have Capcom releasing a bundle of 8 fighting games. These games include Capcom vs. NSK 1 through 2, Project Justice, Capcom Fighting Revolution, Street Fighting Alpha 3, Plasma Sword, and Power Stone 1 and 2. And you can pre-order it today. And the next thing Nintendo show was like 3 to 4 Japanese RPGs I don't care about, so I skipped them. And next up on the Switch, which is a surprising announcement actually, is Civ 7 is coming out on February 11th, which I think is the same date as like the regular console versions. I'm gonna be honest guys, I'm really worried that the Switch can't run that game. When I first saw them talking about the game, I thought it was gonna be like Civ 6, but nope, they announced Civ 7. So yeah, Civ 7 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and honestly, I don't know why you'd play any Civ game on a console, but it exists if you want to now. And the next game that was shown was FNaF Help Wanted 2 on the Switch. It's a FNaF game. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. But yeah, that's for the Nintendo Direct. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, new format through spatnz1, and click the answer reset, check out all my content, and have a good one.